All right. So go ahead. I figure out the people over here.
Oh, are we on?
You're on.
Oh, hello. Welcome. So I am so thrilled to have all of you guys watching. I think I have like 83 families doing science with us today.
Hold on.
Or maybe not. We're going to wait. Not sure what's going on. Technical difficulties, holding pattern. You can all sing. Do, 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 do.
Hi, my name is Georgia. We can practice. Hi, my name is Georgia, and I am in kindergarten. What I love about science is learning. See, I practiced.
Nice.
Should I call my zombie? Should I call
I don't know. I have no idea.
Should I call my mommy?
I'm not sure.
Mommy?
You're going to call it zombie? I love it. Oh, you could. That would be hilarious.
Which one is yours?
I haven't made, I don't have a fact sheet for mine. I'll have to name it.
It's
I'm not
mine.
sure. And it's Isabelle's fact sheet.
Can you give me a name that you like? Bread. What's yours that you like?
Fred. I liked Diamond. Diamond Zombie. Zombie Diamond. What's going on, honey?
I just spelled Jewel.
I just searched the link.
Jewel.
Jewel. I love it.
How do you spell it?
Sound spell
All
it.
right. There's people here.
All right. Jewel. All right. So, welcome to our new link. I'm super excited you found us. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I am so thrilled that you are with us. My name is Dr. Erica, and we are going to do so much science together. It's going to be amazing. And I have two sidekicks that are going to be perfect for helping you gauge where your kids should be sort of a bit around their age level. This is Isabella. She is my fourth grader. So she is a little bit older, and she'll be doing all of the science projects. She'll be a lot more independent. And
Hi, I am Georgia, and I am in kindergarten, and I like science because I get to learn a lot.
we are going to learn a lot. So Georgia is my kindergartner. So you can sort of gauge where your child is and like sort of the things that we're doing together. We are really excited for you to join us. I just want to do a quick note. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and get notifications so that you'll get those notifications when we go live. We are trying, this is like our second time going live, so I'm sorry that we had to switch the link, but we'll get these things worked out. We do have a Zoom classroom that will be ready and open after this. So if you have questions or you want to meet face-to-face, we can totally do that. And in the meantime, if you have questions as we're going, you can write them into the YouTube thing, and my husband will sort of read them out to us, and we can answer them then. So I just want to give you guys a quick overview about what we're going to do today so you know what you're in store for. We are going to start a project. This project takes about a month to do, and we're going to make a mummy. So a whole month, I know. So in your downloads, there was a zip file, and in biology, there was a lab book that has the mummy mystery, which has like all sorts of stuff. And it has a spot for if you want to like do vital information for your mummy and make up things for them. And then we can do hieroglyphics. So you can write a note in hieroglyphics if you want to. So the first thing we're going to do is make our mummy. And what do you guys think we need to make our mummy? What do we think we need?
Some type of fruit. And it doesn't need to be a fruit, but
yeah. What else could it be?
Plastic baggie, salt, baking soda, a scale, a knife.
Nice. She's got it all. She read it off of the table. I like it. What else have we done other than just fruit?
Hot dogs.
We've done hot dogs before. What else have we done? Chicken. Did the chicken smell bad?
Yes.
Did it smell really bad though? It wasn't like rotten chicken in your fridge.
Okay, fine. It smelled terrible.
It smelled like chicken soup.
I thought
it smelled like chicken soup.
It smelled terrible.
Isabel thinks it smelled terrible.
But I have a sensitive nose.
She does. She has a very sensitive nose. And actually, Isabella had a question earlier about when we were doing this. She asked, what did you ask?
I asked, why would we use apples and bananas if they were going to rot?
She asked, why are we going to use apples and bananas? Because they'll just rot. Which is a great question, Because by mummifying something, we're actually preventing it from rotting. And the way we do that is this beautiful thing called salt. And what will happen is we're actually going to pack salt around whatever we're doing. So a chicken drumstick, a hot dog, a piece of fruit, whatever you choose to do. And hopefully you choose something with like a decent water content, because that will give you more of a shriveled look. But what will happen is there's all of this salt that's around your lemon wedge. And the water in the salt says, isn't that interesting? There's all this salt over there. I don't like that there's so much salt over there. I'm going to go try to dilute it. And that's a process called osmosis. In fact, sometimes kids think they can learn by osmosis, which is when, we'll get to your question in a sec, okay? Which is when like you take a book with all this knowledge and you're going to like sleep on the book. And because your brain has no knowledge and the book has all the knowledge, it like will slowly say, oh my gosh, there's no knowledge up there. Let's equalize that. And we'll put the knowledge in your brain and all you have to do is sleep on your book, which would be awesome. I would love that. Doesn't quite work like that with knowledge, but it does work like that with water. So if water sees a spot where it's like, there's no water over there, there's so much salt, it says, let's go try to dilute that. Let's go out into the salt and try to like make it even between where I'm at and out there with all the salt. And so that draws the water out. So that's one thing that's going to be a reason why it can't rot. And part of that is it's drying out. And the other part is if you're a little microbe, what are you filled with, Belly?
Addons.
Well, atoms, but like a little like bacteria.
Yeah.
It's like swimming around. And it's got like its DNA and its ribosomes and all that kind of good stuff. And then there's like this liquid in it. What's the liquid in it? It's a really common liquid. There's this water in it. There's a bunch of water and a little bacteria. And if there's a little bacteria that's going to make it rot, guess what's going to happen when it sees all that salt? It's going to go out of the little bacteria and it's going to pop. We have a question.
Kaya asks, how does being mummified prevent smelling?
So the bacteria is what makes it smell. Georgia has a question. She's going to ask it to us next. Promise, Georgia. We'll get to your question next. So Kaya, when the bacteria has all the water in it and the water sees all that salt around, the water says the same thing it says with the fruit. It's like, man, there's all that salt out there. I need to go make it less salty. So all the water leaves the bacteria and then that kills the bacteria because it needs water to survive in itself. Just like if we sucked all of the water out of us, we would be dead. And what makes the smell is bacteria eating stuff and basically like pooping or farting it out. And that's what we smell. So by killing the bacteria, we prevent the smell. Georgia, tell me your question. Oh, you can go. You can go hang out by Daddy.
You want to come over here?
You just waiting for the mummies? Okay. Well, should we get started making the mummies? No.
Do you want to do a drawing?
Georgia's not in it right now, which is okay. Sometimes we're not ready to do science. But what you can do if you want to is you could even write a note. You could write Jules' name in hieroglyphs if you find the J and draw that picture. So Georgia has her mummy identification card, and she decided she's going to name her mummy Jules. And we also have a hieroglyphs tablet, let's see, right here, that you can print out. So if you want to, while you're listening, you could doodle and write the name that you're going to name your mummy in hieroglyphs. That's totally awesome. All right. So to get started on this, we need our fruit, and we need a scale, and we just need some salt. And we have baking soda. Baking soda is because when the Egyptians did this, they actually used something called natron, which was very similar to a salt baking soda mix. And the baking soda does also help control some of the odor that you might have. And a lot of that is controlled by we're just killing off a whole bunch of bacteria. If you were doing a meat, I will say you are going to want to rub it down with rubbing alcohol and kill the bacteria as much as you can. Rub inside the cavity too, and then dry it off so that we're sort of starting from like a ground zero state. And if you are doing a meat like a big chicken with a cavity, make sure you stuff the salt in that cavity. All right, Georgia, tell me, what are you going to do first? Should we get our scale out? Or should we go to belly? Up to you. You what? What does what mean? Rot. Oh, great question, Georgia. Georgia's curious, what does rot mean? but she's a little upset about me answering the question. So when something rots, it means it's getting eaten up by bacteria or mold or something like that. So we would see it get like squishy. Like this lemon is actually maybe starting to rot a little bit. This banana is getting a little bit brown, so all the sugars are coming in. So it's starting to rot a little bit, and rotting is sort of breaking things down and putting them back into the earth. And so that's actually a really good thing for the earth, right? We can't preserve everything because then the earth has no more nutrients to build from. So rotting, like rotting leaves, help nourish the trees underneath. All right, so we are gonna get started. Isabella, what are you gonna start with?
So you're gonna start by weighing
Yes, we're gonna weigh it.
Whatever you're using. I want to do a lemon.
All right.
So you weigh it, and you weigh it every week, so you know how much water would like.
So we're gonna weigh it. We're gonna cut it just so it has a nice surface that has easy access to the liquid. So why don't you weigh it? You remember? Oh wait, we gotta turn it on. And every time you turn it on, you want to wait until your scale says 0 on it. And we're weighing in ounces right now, which is totally fine.
So it's 1.5 ounces.
1.5 ounces. So you can put its weight right there as 1.5 ounces. You can record your weight if you'd like to. We have a spot for weight both on this spot, and we have a spot for weight here where we can grab it. All right. Georgia, would you like to make your mummy? So Isabella has weighed her 1.5 ounces, and she is going to get ready to pack it in here. This is something we're going to have to change the salt every single week because the salt will pull out that water, and then it'll start to feel like, oh, we're getting less water pulled out as we go. So what you do is you change the salt because you take out all the water that was in with that salt. All right, let's add a bunch of salt. You're basically going to plop in your item
and then add salt.
And fill it up with some salt and some baking soda. Sort of like twice as much salt as baking soda. Do you want to do one? Yes? No? Yes? Okay. What do you want to do? Do you want to do lemon, banana, or apple? Oh no, you gotta fill it up. We're gonna fill it so that like when it's ready, it's gonna be like packed tight. So keep going, Belly.
Okay.
I'm gonna add some baking soda for you. A few shakes of baking soda and a bunch of shakes of salt. Ooh, love it. Georgia's peeling the banana. Perfect. So we can get into those inner layers.
Let's do a quick break. Make sure everybody has materials.
Oh yeah. Does everybody have their materials with them?
We're gonna stop for 1 minute.
Yeah, we'll pause. We'll pause for a minute for anybody who needs to get their materials. You just need to grab whatever you want to mummify: salt, baking soda, ziplock. If you want to weigh it each time, you'll want a scale. But there's other ways to make observations than just weighing it. You could take a phone picture of it each week, or you could sort of measure it each week. You could write descriptions of it each week. So those are all really easy ways that you can take some observations without a kitchen scale. And you can see it happening. Ooh, we're going to keep going more.
But I can't close it.
So if we put it flat like that.
There's so much salt.
Isabella says, but it's so much salt. But we want so much salt because the more salt we have, the more water we're going to pull out. All right, keep going.
Still?
Keep going. All right, that's right. Let's see. Let's make sure we can zip it up. Yeah, that's looking good. Maybe a little bit more. See, we got like a little hole right there.
No.
We're going to go a little bit more.
No.
A little bit more salt.
Look how much salt is in there.
I know.
Oh my God, there's so much salt. Last time we didn't use that much salt.
Yeah.
We did. We've always used this much salt.
We stuffed the chicken with the salt.
Yes, when we did a chicken, we had a gallon Ziploc bag.
Do you want to do one of these?
Okay. All right. So this is going to be Isabella's. And we know that it was 1.5 ounces before. And if we want to, we can sort of smush things around over time too. You can like shake it up. Hers is ready. We're going to just store this somewhere in like a cool, dark area. You don't need to refrigerate it. And you probably don't want to put it right next to your heater. But this is, once you've got that, you're ready. All right, Georgia has got, let's see, hang on a sec. Hit the 0 button. All right. Yours is 2 ounces of banana. So on its weight, you can write 2. On the way. And you can, Bella, you can give it a name and a place of birth.
Zombie.
All right, are you ready? Plop your banana in here, our 2-ounce banana.
So
We'll see what we get to.
for people who don't have the printouts, what is the sheet that you're recording?
For if you don't have the printouts, there are sheets that are in here that you can use that are in the printouts, but you could just write it down of like weight 2 ounces and that would be totally fine.
Hold on.
Right here. This is the printout we're recording on. There's also a spot in the lab book. This was just so that they could name their mummies and give them a place of birth and all that good stuff. All right, Georgia, are you ready to pour your salt in?
Oh, wait.
Let's pour some salt in.
Wait.
You want me to pour it for you?
I didn't know that you said my question out loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was just such a good question. I thought so many kids would be wondering the same question. I'll try not to say it was from you next time, okay? How's that sound? We're going to add a little bit of baking soda in here. And I can already see the salt. Georgia, do you already see the salt sticking to the banana's surface? You see that? It's already starting to work. All right, we need some more salt, though. I have never mummified a banana or a lemon. I'm really curious. I've also never mummified an apple, and we have a third bag here that I think we can mummify an apple, too. Keep going. Gotta fill it up.
Only sugar.
Salt. This guy's salt.
How much baking soda and salt
Yeah,
should they be using for each?
So it's not, you don't have to be perfect about it. It's about twice as much salt as baking soda. So it's called a 2-to-1 ratio. Ooh, that's good. That's good. But it's totally fine if it's not, if it's like even or something like that. Ooh, but we want to be careful because we don't want to mush our banana. Ooh, something interesting about the banana. All right, maybe a little bit more salt.
Is it salt?
Nope, that's our baking soda. A little bit more salt and we'll zip yours up. Now, one of the things that we can also do, that's probably good, is mummies are found in something called a sarcophagus. So if you wanted to make a sarcophagus out of your mummy, that would be a great building challenge. Oh, Georgia, I think I put too much salt in yours.
Okay.
There we go. We got it zipped. So mummies lived in sarcophagi or sarcophaguses. I wonder what the plural is. Is it like octopi or is it like praying mantises? I'm not sure. But they come in, we found them in sarcophaguses. And you could make one with your mummy out of like cardboard or like a shoebox, and you could decorate it and name it and everything.
That's what we did with the hot dogs. We put little faces on the hot dogs.
Yes, we put little faces. We wrapped them at the very end. We wrapped them with gauze and stuff.
That was
So that is Georgia's. So we are ready to, that is our project that sort of started. And if you want to learn a little bit about where the osmosis, the water for the osmosis is coming from, inside your lab book, we have this paper, which has a little game in it. And the way the game goes is you need a bunch of pennies, like this, and 2 dice. And this is a fun little math game, too. And what you do is you put pennies on all of these blue pieces, and you'll be able to see, you get to move the pennies a certain amount of movements. And you move them into these green salt pieces. And once the salt is all filled up, you have to change the salt, which is what we do every week. So you have to like take a moment and change the salt. Oh, because that one's yours. Do you want to do it with me? You can totally do it with me. Should I do it with Belly? I can do it with Belly's. Okay, let's do it. So the way you would do it is you'll put it down on your table and you will put out pennies in all of these blue circles. And Georgia's going to demonstrate how we'll do it. I know I have some pink pennies from when we did some carbon dating a while ago. All right, so we're going to set up our pennies. And this is like as representative of Georgia's banana, which is all full of water. And we are going to take the water out through osmosis. It's going to want to go into that salt. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's so many pennies. I'm losing track. Do we have any more? Did I get enough pennies? That's okay. We'll leave a couple empty. How's that sound?
I can get some for you.
Would you like to go get me 2 more? We need just 1 more penny. There's one right there. Go get one more penny from Daddy. All right.
Do you want green or pink, Mama?
Ooh, you choose. We painted a bunch of pennies one time to do like a carbon dating project, which was actually related to this. And we can go over how to make that. I can put up the video if you decide you want to make a little mass spectrometer to see if your lemon or your banana or your apple or your chicken is a real mummy or if we just made it yesterday. We can pretend. All right, so the way this game goes is you'll take 2 dice and roll them, and you'll add the numbers together, and that's how far you get to move the pennies. But if you go into the salt, then that's like the end of that turn. So it's sort of like we got to fill up the salt, we got to change the salt, and we're going to move it. And we can look at what water leaves first. Here, Georgia. Give it a roll. All right, we have 7 and 4. What's 7 plus 4?
Since 6 plus 4 is 10, so 7 plus 4, because it's 1 more, is 11.
Yes, high five. Awesome job. So, no high fives? You left me hanging live on TV. That's okay. So you would get to move 11. So pick a penny, and you get to move it up to 11 spots right here. But there, you can only move it out and sell it. Oh, we're chasing the penny. Okay, so I'll move it for you, Georgia. Ready?
What?
I'll pick a penny, and you can move it up to 11 spots, but you'll notice there's not very many spots open to go. There we go. We got 1. She only got to move it 1, but she moved it into the salt. All right, Belly, would you like to go next? Give it a roll. All right, we have 5 and 8. What's 5 plus 8? 13. So you can move up to 13 spaces.
Wait,
you can only have 1 penny in a green salt at a time.
Wait, do you get to use more than 1 penny?
No, you can just use 1 penny.
But
I know. At the very beginning, we just get all of the. We just got to get some of it out.
Can those pennies be mine?
All right, Georgia, give it a roll.
Be mine.
Sure, these pennies can be yours later. Let's see what we got. We got 2 and 1. What's 2 plus 1?
3.
All right, you can move up to 3 spaces. I know these water molecules in the middle are really stuck, aren't they? 1. Oh, you had to move the same penny though. You're gonna move the same penny. So let's move this guy back.
But you can't.
Or what's this? I'm not sure. Where were we? Okay, we'll move it like that.
Like that.
All right. Okay, she moved it straight out into a green box. Now, Belly, it's your turn.
Okay.
Let's see. Where's our dice?
Mama, you use this.
I used a chipped penny. Oh, we have a chipped penny.
Oh yeah, I
We
had
got
one in
hungry.
science class one time.
Ooh, we're rolling by spin. I love it. All right, we've got 2 and 1. 3.
One.
Where are you gonna move?
You could use the green.
There's not very many options, is there?
Wait, can you push pennies in?
You can't push pennies. You gotta
There's
go.
a dime.
Yeah, you gotta go through the bubbles.
There's a dime instead of a penny.
There is a dime. All right, Isabella went straight into the salt. Now it's Georgia's turn to give it a roll or a spin. I love it. Double roll. All right, we have 8 plus 2. How many can we move?
10.
Up to 10. Where are we going to move? 1. That doesn't. Oh, no, we can only move the same penny. You got to stick to the same penny. What if you got one out in the salt, though? For that one, I love it. So it's starting off as sort of a slow process. Do you girls notice where all the pennies are coming from? Are they coming from the inside or the outside?
Outside.
They're all coming from the outside right now. Interesting. All right, we've got
8.
3 plus 5, so 8.
I can't just take the pencil out of my hand.
What do we got?
Only try to take the pencil out of my hand.
There's not very many choices, is there? Here, Georgia, you're next. Ooh, a tricky one, Georgia. 9 plus 6. Ooh.
Oh, I thought it was 6 plus 6.
I know, that would have been cool.
But what happens if
What is
all of
10
this
plus
all
6?
comes out? 16?
So what do you think 9 plus 6 is?
15.
15! Did you go, Belly?
Yeah.
Awesome.
What do
So
you
you get to
get?
move up to 15, but you're kind of still stuck on these guys.
Wait.
Yeah. I would move either this one out to the salt or that one out to the salt. Like this guy can move out into salt.
This one and this
Yeah,
one.
wait, we gotta use this one. Let's see how there's like the little green line. All right, Belly. Let's give it a go. Roll it
This one's
up.
gonna be right here.
Well, this one we'll move that there after. She's gonna roll it up. Oh my gosh, 9 and 6.
So,
And now we're gonna change our salt. So all of our green salt pieces are full, which means our salt has taken as much water as it can out. So we're gonna empty it. And now we have a little bit more space for our pennies to move. We can move them around some, but they did all come from the outside, didn't they?
yeah.
So we can probably expect our lemon to dry from what? The inside out or outside in?
Well, the outside.
Yeah, so the outside will dry first, and then we'll move some of the water from the very inside. It'll slowly go to the outside, and then we'll get dried by our salt. What do we got, Georgia?
I accidentally dropped it.
Okay, that's cool.
That's
2 and 1. What's 2 plus 1?
3.
Now you get to move a little bit more than just like you can move there, or you can move like 1, 2, 3.
Mama.
1, 2, 3. All right, we took some water out. All right, Belly, go for it. Except for we don't have another one.
What are we gonna do?
Let's just play one more round of this game real fast. Where's our other dice? I don't know. Georgia, where's our other dice? Ah, right by your hand. There we go. Beautiful. 7 and 1. So you can move up to 8.
Okay.
This is a great way to get quick math facts in for little people. You could do multiplication for older people if you wanted to.
I would just take
That would be a lot. It would be a lot of
like
spaces.
8 and 8 would be
Yeah.
64.
What do you want to move?
Well, Mama, I scribbled.
Oh, no!
I
That's okay.
scribbled, Mama, and then watch.
That is cool.
Wasn't this good?
I don't know. Maybe we'll stop after this turn because we had an accident.
4, 5.
Yep. So the way this is, you can keep going. The way this is going, we're drawing from the outside, and you'll take a few turns to get all these pennies out, just like it's going to take us 4, 5, 6 weeks to get all of the water out. All right, so that is that part of the game. There are some additional add-ons that you can do if you want to. I talked a little bit about creating the sarcophagus, which is really fun. And one of the things that if you want to work on graphing is you can actually graph your mummy's weight. So Isabel, how many ounces was?
Mine was 1.5.
Was 1.5 ounces. So the first line here is actually 2 ounces, mainly because when I made this, we did a full chicken and it was like almost 3 pounds. But so it's going to be hard for us to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe we should change the scale of this so that it's not quite so large. I kind of agree with that. So 1, 2,
Wait, no, you
4,
could just
5, 6,
do
7,
1
8, 9.
and then half.
Yeah, and then we could do it right down here, and all of our data would be sort of down here. Because is it gonna get heavier or lighter as the weeks go on?
It's gonna get lighter.
It's gonna get lighter because our water is gonna go into that salt, and then we're gonna take the salt away and reweigh it. So we're gonna have less water, and water is pretty heavy. So that is something that you can do. If you have something heavier, you can do it on this graph. And you know what? I'll work tonight to get a graph that's better scaled if you guys are doing fruit with us, because that will be a lot easier. So that is the start of our mummification and osmosis. We have lots of stuff in that you guys can do at home. And if you have some questions, we can go into like a Zoom if you guys want to do online things, or if there's questions that haven't gotten read out to us about starting our mummies. I'll try to remind you guys every week to change your salt and record how that water is leaving. And you can think about like, I wonder if the first week it loses half the water, will it lose half the next? Like, will it lose the same amount each week? Like, will it lose 0.1 ounces of water each week? Or will it lose a lot of water in the first week and not that much water after? Or will it not lose much water in the beginning and then lose a lot of water in the end? I wonder. What do you think?
We'll lose a lot of water in the end.
You think, okay, so you think it'll sort of stay stable and then start to lose a lot of water?
No, it'll always lose water.
At the same amount, so it'll always lose.
Yeah,
That's-
if you're putting
be
the
like,
same
don't-
amount
don't-
of salt in the whole time, then it would be.
Okay, so Isabella's thinking that it's called a linear thing where it loses the same amount each time, which makes a nice straight line. So you could think if you agree or not, it's okay to not agree. Their other options would be like it loses a lot of water first and then sort of evens out. Or it waits for a while and then loses a lot of water. So if we lose a lot of water first and then it evens out, that's called exponential. Shoo! Like that. If it waits for a while and then comes down, that's called quadratic. We have a question.
So one, Griffin says hi.
Hi, Griffin! I love Griffin. Griffin's great. I'm excited you're there.
2, Marin asks, how does the salt take out the water? She's 5 and she wants to know how salt takes out the water.
Love it. That's a great question. So imagine salt like a little cube. And it's got these little like molecules of salt, because salt's a crystal, so it's like this nice cube, but it has charges on it. So if you've ever like rubbed your hair with a balloon and it sticks to the balloon, a lot of kids who are maybe 5 have done this project where you rub your hair with the balloon and then your hair sticks and it's like, what is going on here? And that's because the balloon gets like a negative charge and your hair gets a positive charge, and then they like stick together because positives and negatives love each other, like love. Like you put a positive charge and a positive charge and they like fight. They just fight all day and they go as far apart as possible. But you put a positive and a negative together and like, forever friends, and they love it. And what happens with the salt is the water kind of creeps on in and it splits itself up into a positive and a negative charge. And then the salt splits up into a positive and a negative charge, and then they bind together. And so it's sort of like this idea that it's kind of attracting it, it's pulling it to come into it. And it's using those charges to do that. So you got this positive and this negative charge that are going to be BFFs. They're so excited to be together. And that's how the salt and the water sort of sit together. But if you look at the salt, in fact, we have salt on our table. If you look at it, you're going to see like little crystals. And as the water pulls out, those crystals will look different because they're going to be saturated with water. And in fact, if you get so much water, the salt will completely dissolve into that water and you'll get sort of like ocean water, salty ocean water. That's a great question.
BFF definition, couldn't you do the salt is a big bodybuilder and it wants to eat a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then it never like disposes the stuff that it eats.
Okay.
So then
what is it eating? Is it eating?
It's eating the water.
It's eating the water.
And then
so
it
like,
doesn't dispose it. And then it's like you take the salt out and then you put new salt in. But then when you take the old salt out, it's about to pop. But then you so that it won't pop and then
yeah. So it's sort of what's determined about how much water the salt can pull is that equilibrium, because remember the water inside sees the salt outside and it wants to be the same inside and outside. So it tries to move out into the salt to make the salt less salty. And then that is sort of what, once it feels like it can't really do much more of that, then we need to change the salt. And then it's going to do it again. It's going to drag it out again through those charges and those positive and negatives like in BFFs together. Great question. Hi, Reese. How are you? I'm so excited that I have all of my fun little crew that comes to my after-school science classes. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. I'm really curious, Griffin and Reese, what are you guys mummifying?
Can you tell us about the gummy bear osmosis experiment, or maybe give us some pointers?
Yes, totally fair. Oh, Georgia, would you like to come and talk about it?
If
Go ahead,
you
go ahead,
want
so
the
they can see.
computer, on the computer that Daddy is doing on, it's on the opposite side. Belly's on this side and the paint is on this side. And his hands, and then when you put your hands here, it's on that side.
Love it. George is realizing we have a mirror image. That's a cool thing to notice. So yes, the gummy bear one is really cool because this osmosis project is going to take us 5 or 6 weeks to do. Although I can already see Isabella's lemon, there's a lot of water coming out of that. So sometimes it's really hard to think about science over this long period of time because the change is so slow and it's hard to think about it. And if you want to see it a lot faster, you can. So there's 2 projects that you can pretty easily do with that. One of them is the gummy bear project. And what you will do is you'll take a gummy bear, well, 2 gummy bears, and put them both into a glass of water. And then you'll pour salt water in one, like heavily salted water in one, and regular water in the other. And then you're going to see what happens. It might be surprising.
I don't like this experiment.
It might not. Isabella apparently really doesn't like this experiment.
Because I left it in one time too long, and then it started popping and got really gross.
See, she didn't like it because her gummy bear got too big. So one of your gummy bears is going to just hang out and not do much. in one of your gummy bears is going to just like explode. It's going to be huge. And the longer you leave it in there, it'll sort of like get bigger and bigger up till a certain point, but it'll get pretty big.
And then you can eat it after.
Yes.
Cut it in half and then
You could try it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not totally against that. I'm not sure if it would taste
It's
good, but you could try it. Why not? The other one that you can do if you want to also see osmosis on like sort of a quick scale thing is if you take an egg and you put it in vinegar for a couple days, the vinegar will eat off the shell of the egg. And what will happen, and that's because vinegar is an acid, and acids like to eat away things. So it's going to eat off the shell, and you'll get like this egg that's sort of like in a membrane. It'd be like a water balloon egg, which is kind of interesting to think about. I know, it's very interesting. And you could take an egg. I would do 2 so that you can see what's happening at the same time. And you can take one of your water balloony eggs and put it into a big bowl of really, really, really salty water. And you can take one of the eggs and put it into a big bowl of fresh water. And you can see what happens. So you can imagine if we have really, really, really salty water for an egg, is the egg salty or not salty on the inside? Do eggs taste salty normally?
I don't know.
No, so there's probably not much salt inside. So if we have not much salt on the inside and a really salty water, what do you think was going to happen to the water on the inside? Where would it go?
I know. It will get salty for you.
Ooh, so Georgia thinks the salt is going to go in.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe some salt goes in. I'm curious about where the water goes because salt is really big and water is really small. So water can get through that little membrane of our water balloon egg. I kind of really like that word, water balloon egg.
Wouldn't it like the water balloon egg like pop? Because like the salt couldn't get through and it would be like doing nothing.
But the water can get through. So I have a lot of just plain water here and a lot of salty water here. What does the water want to do? It wants to make things what? The same or different?
Well, actually, it might just get really squunched up and small.
Oh, yes, because our water is going to leave that water balloon egg to try to like dilute that outside area. So in fact, we'll have water leaving our egg and a really salty thing will get scrunchy.
Don't give them spoilers.
All right.
Oh, that was a spoiler. I'm sorry. Hi, Kavi. How are you? I hope is your brother doing this with you? That is awesome. I'm going to ask everyone to give a thumbs up because it really helps spread the word about science. And if you are doing the gummy bear or the egg experiment, you should definitely post pictures up because that would be awesome to see everybody doing their things. I would love to see people's mummies and find out what people are doing too. I'm kind of curious. I feel like we might actually flip Isabella's lemon over because I'm looking at it and you probably can't see this on the video, but it's actually like heavily, there's a lot of water coming out into the salt already, which makes sense because lemons are very juicy. And I've never done something with this much water in it. I am really curious to see what happens. Like, what does it look like at the end? Is it going to be super shriveled or is it going to be like jelly, gelatinous-y? I'm not sure.
But
it's going to have all the same cells of that lemon, but a lot of the water of the cells is going to pop out into the salt.
When we did hot dogs in like the old way class, didn't we soak them in water first for like?
No, we didn't. And that's actually, Isabella's mentioning something that's really important. So we did do hot dogs when I taught at a school. We did not soak it in water. We saw some stuff, was maybe not the best example because hot dogs are really salty. So if you have something that's really salty and then you put salt in it, the water inside the hot dog is kind of like, it's salty everywhere. Like, I'm not going to do anything. It's really salty here. It's really salty there. I'm kind of good. Everybody's happy. So you probably want to use something that's lower sodium content than that. So probably not chicken nuggets or hot dogs or like, I don't know, freezer meatballs, because those are all things that have a lot of salt already. We want that dichotomy for the water to be like, oh my gosh, there's so much salt out there. I must rush out there and go equilibrate the world. Yeah. That's really what we want to do.
Where's the gummy bear experiment?
The gummy bear experiment is, I think, in one of the add-ons for if you look at grades 0 to 1 as ideas on activities to do. I believe there's a gummy bear experiment in there. There is also, I also have on my blog a thing for the gummy bear experiment for you to see it. And there's actually a GIF to show you where the water is going, which is kind of fun. I think it's in the download though. Maybe not. So I also got a link on where you can go. But what you would do is just take 2 gummy bears, put one in salt water, one in regular water, and watch them grow or shrink. Make sure you label, because salt water and regular water look an awful lot alike, don't they?
Wait, but Mama, why is mine like brown here and like not brown up there?
The salt?
Yeah.
That is the water coming out. So that's the salt soaking up that water, which is why I'm thinking maybe we want to like sort of already do a quick change so we get more, so that our salt doesn't get full up on water like it would on this guy.
Can we explain the egg experiment another time?
Yeah, I explained the egg experiment, but if you still have questions, you're more than welcome
To the Q&A.
Yeah, to come into our Q&A. We can start the Zoom where we can be live. I can see you guys. I can say hi to Javi and Reese and Griffin and whoever else is out there that's taking classes with me. I'm sure it'll be exciting because my girls, we are in lockdown. We haven't seen very many people.
Except our friends.
Yeah, except we're all sort of quarantining with our neighborhood, with our 2 BFFs.
Can we use vegetarian gummy bears for the gummy bear experiment?
Yeah, that should work.
No gelatin?
What are vegetarian gummy bears made out of? I mean, it should work. I think it'll work. I'm more worried about it actually just dissolving if there's no gelatin. What is
Tapioca.
tapioca?
Yeah, it would work because if you look in the because tapioca
Tapioca
is the
balls get bigger.
yeah, because whenever we have the
Like tapioca pudding. I actually don't know about that. So the gelatin has like proteins that are sort of binding it all together in this nice matrix. So it's sort of like you can imagine like almost like a towel that it can soak up water and get big. I don't know what tapioca is made out of, because some things, if you just pour a bunch of water on it, it doesn't do that. Like if I put like flaked potatoes.
Syrup usually is what tapioca is made of.
Yeah, I'm not.
Arrowroot.
Arrowroot, yeah. Arrowroot would not do it because arrowroot's a powder. So I don't think it will, well, I mean, not that powders can't expand. I don't think it will expand, like soak up water the same way. I feel like it might just dissolve. But now I'm really curious. So I really hope you do this and let me know what happens, because I'm not sure. My guess, I know tapioca can hold water because we make tapioca pudding, but I don't actually know what tapioca is. Like, I don't know what the structure of tapioca looks like, so I don't know if it can sort of swell and get bigger versus sort of just break apart and like get mushy inside of water. So it might just sort of dissolve like a cracker would dissolve. I don't know the answer.
So we're going to put the Zoom conference as a email that they should get in their email box.
Okay.
And as a link once this ends. I just can't run the video at the same time.
All right. So we can't run dual video. And if you didn't hear my husband, we're going to email you guys the Zoom link. And it'll be in your email box, and then we can all hang out together, which will be fun.
So subscribe,
Yeah.
get notifications.
Subscribe, get the notifications, tell your friends, take pictures of your mummies so we can see what they look like, because it's going to be awesome. And then tomorrow we are going to do some forces and some energy. We're going to do the Post-it note.
yes.
I know. She has been waiting. She
Oh my
was
gosh.
really upset when we did this project without her. So we're going to do the Post-it notes project, and we're going to see if you guys can rip apart Post-it notes, which sounds super easy. So
Wait,
why are we doing it?
would we live about this?
I know. It's going to be interesting.
I thought you said that we were gonna lift weights with people.
We will, but some people might not have all this stuff. So we can also do a tug of war, but all you need is Post-it notes, really. And if you want to do weightlifting with it, you'll need C-clamps on your table, and you'll need a table. We're going to have to figure out what table we do it on, because you need a table that has sort of like a vertical piece that you can C-clamp on and it can hang down. And then we're also going to make kinetic rollers, because when we talk about forces, we can also talk about energy, and we'll make something that you can make roll around your room, which will be really fun. It'll be awesome. So yeah, we'll sign off, and we will get that Zoom link into your email ASAP, and we will get started. Hopefully you guys join us and I get to say hi to all my friends. Awesome. Have a great one. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Wait, Mama.
Yeah.
So why does there look two things here?
Why is there what?
Can I have a Band-Aid?